Hey guys, welcome to my book review channel. The goal of this channel is to get more people to read books because books lead into success, they lead into happiness, they make you a better person. So go pick up more books and read and spread the word. Number two is I'm reading over 60 books in 2018. I'm putting out one book review a week. And honestly, it's selfish as well. I can go back and look at all my book reviews and get a 5 to 10 minute video on what my top 3 takeaways were, or top 5 takeaways depending on the book. So let's jump in, let's get going. If you don't know me at this point, my name is Matt Balducci. I'm a high performance coach and entrepreneur. The book we're gonna cover today is Mastery by Robert Greene. If you don't know who Robert Greene is, look him up. He wrote the 48 Laws of Power. Just an unbelievable author, and this book did not disappoint. So it is a little bit of a longer read, guys, and if you do what I do and listen to it on Audible, I have now been able to get to 2.5 times the speed. I'm working my way up throughout the year to get to 3 times the speed. But ultimately, this whole entire book covered multiple success stories in the past and history and talked a lot about masters, right? Mastery, how to become a master at something. And a lot of things in this book hit me over the head and basically made me realize that over the last decade, I've slowly now, again, I hate to use the word this, but I slowly became a master at sales. And because of becoming a master at sales, I went through an apprenticeship, which we're going to talk about in the book, but I went through an apprenticeship running my company, and it has been amazing, even though throughout it, sometimes I got bored, sometimes I wasn't as creative, and sometimes I did not like what I was doing. But when I look back at the last decade of learning sales, I can tell you right now that I am unbelievable at it, but I also learned multiple other things: how to recruit, how to hire the right people, how to build a company culture, how to run a multi-million-dollar company. I learned just a ton about being an entrepreneur. So I want to cover my top 4 takeaways in this book. The first one is that it takes 10 years to become a master or an expert. And I think in our world, in our generation, of the millennial generation, we have zero patience and we do not understand delayed gratification. Like I was talking about earlier, even when I was running my company and learning and going through the hardships and dealing with rejection and business failures and success, I'll tell you right now, I wanted it the next day. I wanted the success the next day. I still want success the next day, but I completely understand for me to be unbelievable at what I want to do, it's mastery. So if you look at anything from fitness, so I'm a bodybuilder, and if you look at my previous videos, you're gonna be able to see in my face, also my muscle growth, everything is growing really fast, but I've only been at it for 1 year. So what will I look like in 7 to 10 years? That's the cool question. And it really pushed me to understand that if I push myself for those 7 to 10 years, I am going to become a master at health and wellness, which again, is pretty badass. If you live until you're 90, you actually can create 9 different masteries in your life. So understand first and foremost that it takes 10 years to become a master. So for all you millennials out there and you're trying to be successful and you want to be the billionaire, the millionaire, understand that it takes time. So that's my takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2 is that mastery is boring. So what do I mean by that? When you start something for the first time, we all know you get really jazzed up and excited, and then as you go through, we are all creatures of habit. And once it becomes a habit, it becomes boring. We stop thinking about it. So ultimately, it also hurts us sometimes too, right? So understand that when you're becoming a master, think about Leonardo da Vinci or Beethoven or any of the people that we have seen, Steve Jobs, any of the people that we have seen that have become masters of their industry or masters of the arts or whatever in the past. You have to understand that I'm assuming that painting for Leonardo da Vinci or sculpting or putting together anything that he was doing eventually got boring. Now again, you probably are going, well, come on, Matt, it's Leonardo da Vinci. Well, I'm sure that at some point he got bored. Here's the thing, he became a master, and why? Because he was able to fight through that boredom. Now, what you can do is you can continue looking at your desired skill set that you're trying to develop and become a master at, and you can make it not boring by getting creative. So that's takeaway number 2, is understand that developing mastery sometimes can be boring. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it happens to the best of us, but you have to fight through that because you have to understand what's at the end of the tunnel. You think about Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. He continually made him repeat the same thing over and over again, and then all of a sudden, it worked, right? Magical movie. Hero's journey, right? So we don't have time for that today, but number 3 is that the brain is plastic. So what do I mean by that? There's a million books you can read on it. I'm currently reading a book that will be coming out in a couple months here, as I'm reading it right now, is the Ever-Changing Brain, right? It talks about neuroplasticity. And in this book, Mastery, it talks about that the brain is plastic, and that means that you can change your identity, but along the way, it has to be through positive thoughts. So again, it's an interesting part of the book, and I wasn't expecting it, but as you can see, constantly over and over in the book Incognito, the book I'm currently reading, Think and Grow Rich, all these different books talk about the fact that you can transform your mind, you can transform what you believe you are, you can transform your identity. So your brain is plastic, which means that, again, you can become a master of whatever you want regardless of where you're at in your life. It just means you have to start now. So are you willing to do that? I don't know. You make the decision. Number 4, and I love it, is we can accomplish way more than we think. So the crazy part is this, again, back to number 3, your brain is plastic. It can change, you can transform, your identity can become better. Same thing goes for that. We sometimes underestimate what we can accomplish in a short period, right? And we overestimate what we accomplish in the future. So the key here, guys, is this, is that I want you to think, what do you really want in your life? So for me right now, I'm doing a year of just extreme action. Everything in my life is extreme right now, putting out these videos. I have an insane morning routine. I'm becoming a bodybuilder. I'm writing my first book. I run another business. I'm going through a ton of different changes. My business is amazing, but I'm also growing a high-performance coaching company, which is awesome. I've been working with multiple clients now, and it's been amazing. But at the end of the day, guys, I am going for extreme action because I now understand what it takes to get what I want and become a master. So again, those are my 4 takeaways. So I'm gonna recap one more time for you guys. And again, if you haven't watched my book reviews in the past, as you can see, this is a very quick video. You're gonna wanna go pick up the book and read it yourself, but this gives you the 4 takeaways from Matt Balducci. So my first one is it takes 10 years to become a master or an expert. Understand, you have to put the work in. You have to. Number 2 is that mastery sometimes is boring. So get used to that and fight through it. And it sucks sometimes, right? But then at the end of the day, you get to be the Karate Kid, right? Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Number 3, the brain is plastic, and you can change your view, your identity, everything about you can change with positive attitude. And last but not least, you can accomplish more than you think, guys. So good luck, have fun, read more, get more books. I'm excited. Subscribe below if you have not. I meant to say that in the beginning, but if you have not subscribed, I'm going to be putting out 1 book a week for the whole year, probably for the next 5 years. So make sure you tune in. I'll talk to you soon.